Angela stayed. She hadn't unpacked, not completely. Her suitcase sat open like a question waiting for an answer. She tiptoed around the house with careful silence, barely eating, barely breathing. Yet no one pushed her again. Not even Madame Lee. It was as if the mansion itself held its breath. That morning, June was in the study, eyes scanning a business journal, but his mind clearly elsewhere. Angela stood in the doorway. "Do you hate me now?" she asked. He looked up, startled.
No.
She stepped in, shut the door. "Then why have you stopped talking to me?" June's jaw flexed. "Because when I want something, I don't like sharing it." Angela crossed her arms. "So, I'm something to be owned?" "That's not what I meant." "Then say what you mean. Please." June stood slowly, crossed the room, and stopped just a breath away. "I mean, I want you. But not if you don't want me back. Not if you're just drifting toward whoever pulls hardest." Angela's heart hurt at the vulnerability in his voice. She nodded softly, unsure what to say. Meanwhile, Hanol grew colder. He didn't flirt anymore. Didn't joke. He started going out late, returning with the smell of liquor and unfamiliar perfume. One evening, Angela found him on the rooftop, eyes bloodshot, music blaring through his earbuds. "Hanol," she said gently, "don't pretend you care. Not after kissing my brother." She flinched. "That's not fair. Neither is falling for someone who'll never look at you the way you look at them." He turned away, but Angela stepped forward. "I do care," she said. "But I'm trying to find myself here too. Not just be what everyone else wants." Hanol didn't respond. But he didn't walk away either. Angela spent the next few days volunteering at a local center for immigrants. She needed air, space, purpose. She cleaned, taught kids basic English, helped elderly Ajamas learn phone apps. It reminded her of Nigeria, of a version of herself untouched by luxury or longing. She returned one afternoon to find the mansion in chaos. Minjay had disappeared. Madame Lee was pacing. June looked ready to kill someone. Hanol sat in a corner, head in his hands. "He left a note," June said, handing it to her. "I can't be in a house that makes me feel like second place. I love her, and that terrifies me." Angela's breath caught. "Where would he go?" "He has a studio in Incheon," Hanol muttered. Without waiting for permission, Angela grabbed her coat and ran. The train ride to Incheon felt endless. Her heart pounded. She found the studio, an old warehouse-turned-loft, by dusk. She knocked. No answer. She pushed the door open. Minjay sat on the floor, surrounded by canvases, paint streaked across his arms. "Minjay," she whispered. He didn't turn. "You came." Angela knelt beside him. "I always would." He looked at her, truly looked. "I'm tired of competing, of feeling like I'm never enough. I thought loving you would make me better. But it only hurts." Angela cupped his face. "Loving me shouldn't hurt. Because I think I'm falling too." Minjay blinked. "For me?" She nodded, trembling. "But I need time. To be sure." "I'll wait." He kissed her, slow and soft. Not hungry, not desperate, just certain. They returned to Seoul together. That night, Madame Lee invited Angela into her private sitting room. It was the first time she'd done so. "You've changed this house," the woman said, pouring tea. Angela bowed her head. "I'm sorry for the chaos." "Don't be. My sons, they were broken in ways I couldn't reach."
But you?
"You're their mirror. You reflect what they don't want to face." Angela bit her lip. "And what about me?" "You, my dear, have to decide whether your heart is brave enough to break 3 others or wise enough to choose one." That night, Angela dreamed of 3 paths, each lit with the shadow of a man she could love. And when she woke, her heart whispered a name. Angela's heart knew before her lips ever spoke. It had whispered the name long before she dared admit it aloud. But morning brought clarity, fragile, trembling clarity. She stepped into the lounge, where all 3 brothers sat in a tense silence. They looked up in unison when she entered. June guarded. Hanol, wary. Minjay, hopeful. Angela stood, hands clenched, eyes glistening. I I've made my decision. A beat of silence. She turned to one of them. It's you. The name she said was soft. A murmur. But it cracked like thunder through the stillness. Later, alone in the garden, Angela exhaled deeply. Minjay stepped beside her, tentative. You chose me, he said quietly. Angela looked up. Yes. But why? She smiled. Because you never asked me to be anything else but myself. You didn't try to cage me, win me, or outshine the others.
You just saw me.
Minjay let out a breath he hadn't known he'd been holding. He took her hands and leaned in. The kiss was unlike before, this time not stolen in confusion, but claimed in certainty. The garden spun in gentle breeze around them as their lips met. A kiss full of trembling beginnings. Inside, Hanol sat on the staircase, a bitter smile on his lips. He held a bottle but didn't drink. So this is heartbreak, he muttered. June stood nearby, arms folded. She made her choice. You're not mad? Hanol asked. June looked toward the window. I am, but more at myself. I forgot that love doesn't obey strategy. Days passed. Angela and Minjay grew into each other slowly. Not without bumps, but with laughter, with arguments that ended in kisses, with paint-smudged hands and shared playlists. One afternoon, Minjay took her to his favorite rooftop overlooking the Han River. I used to come here when the house felt too heavy, he said. Angela leaned into him. Now we're building something lighter. Together. He kissed her temple. Maybe someday I'll paint our story. Angela smiled. Maybe I'll write it first. At the year-end Hanol Gala, Angela attended again. Not as a guest, not as a babysitter, but as someone important. Minjay held her hand openly. Paparazzi whispered. Journalists snapped photos. But Angela didn't care. She had stayed in Korea not just to survive, but to find something meaningful. And now, against all odds, she had. After the event, she found Madame Lee on the balcony. Thank you, Angela said. The woman gave a rare smile.
No.
Thank you. You didn't just love one of my sons. You helped them all grow. Angela nodded. But it's Minjay I want to grow with. 1 month later, Minjay invited her to his art exhibit. The final piece, a canvas larger than the others, hung at the center. It was her. Not perfect, not styled, but raw, emotional, alive. Her hair wild, her eyes defiant, her smile like home. Underneath was the title, The Woman Who Chose Me. Angela stared at it, tears in her eyes. Minjay appeared beside her, silent. You ready for what's next? He asked. She turned to him. With you? Always. He kissed her again. And this time, it wasn't about choice or courage or conflict. It was simply love.